There are multiple ways to write a lookup formula. Today, I will show you 3 different ways to set up your lookup formula and break down why I would use each type for each situation. So on my screen, you can see 3 different types of lookups: index match, Vlookup, and index collect. Now, when I say index match, it doesn't mean that is together a formula. The index is a formula that can take up to 3 parameters. The first one is the table. The second one is the vertical index, how far down it is. And then you're able to have an optional third parameter that is able to go across and tell you how many spaces to the right, how many columns to the right you need to be. You can also use match for this as well, but we're not going to get into that today. So this index match, it is looking for a value here in the name column. And I'm using match to look for the word alpha, which you can see is right here. And in the match, it has the value it is looking for. The column is looking for that value in. And then finally, we have the option on what type of lookup it should be. There are multiple ones, but I will say that I always use 0 because 0 gives you the exact result. This match is able to then identify how many rows down the specific value I care about is, and it's able to return that. So it comes down and finds A, and that's why you see here in the result A. That is index match. It is commonly what we use in Smartsheet for specific one lookup. So we're looking up someone's name and want to get their phone number, for example. And when you have one specific column you need to reference, it's easier to set that up. Some users use Vlookup, and that is also able to look up a value in the same way the index match does. It's arranged a little bit differently, as you can see, because Vlookup right away uses the value you're looking up, and it goes right to the column that you're going for, and it does require you to put that specific column number in. So this is a requirement for this value. And you could also set it up to look across a table as well. We don't commonly use Vlookup because index match is able to do about everything a Vlookup can. And the problem is that Vlookup and HLOOKUP both are really able to be covered by just index match. So oftentimes we'll just use index to handle all that information, and it is more efficient on Smartsheet, as I've been told. Now, finally, what if you have multiple criteria? What if you need to search with multiple parameters for your specific value? In this case, index collect would be valuable. So index collect will only return one specific column. So you wouldn't be able to do an index match where you kind of triangulate your information. But in an index collect, what you can do is you say that the first column is also the one that you're bringing in. And you can see here that I have the repeated criteria. I'm looking in criteria 1, looking for alpha. But what's neat is I can actually add a second value. So I wanted to show this. I click over here, and the trick to make it so that it will look across the entire sheet, and even if you add more rows, is to put colon there, you click again, backspace, whatever number it shows. And now you are looking across that entire column. No matter how many rows are added to the sheet, you're going to see that. It works very similarly with the cross sheet reference. Now I'm going to do a comma, and I'm going to choose my number. So in this case, I want to be 1 because I'm saying not only should it be alpha, but it also should be 1. You're going to see it's going to show the same value, but let's say that instead I brought alpha down 1. Now notice that index match and Vlookup don't see a difference. They're both just the same value. It's going to get the first one in hits. In this case, if I say 0, you're going to see I don't have anything anymore. And by the way, I recommend putting an if error around that so that you never see invalid value. That's pretty gnarly to see. So let's say now I change this to be a 1. There it is, brings B in. So what's nice about an index collect is that you can get more specific and drill into information that has multiple parameters. There's quite a lot to dive into on lookups. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment and definitely subscribe. Thank you and have a nice day.